The votes are officially in, the results have been tallied, and the NFL just confirmed what Cleveland Browns fans and Shedeur Sanders supporters across the entire nation already knew in their hearts. This young quarterback is absolutely special and destined for greatness. Shedeur Sanders has been named the Pepsi Zero Sugar NFL Rookie of the Week for Week 14. And this isn't just another participation trophy or consolation prize for a struggling rookie trying to find his way in the league. This is legitimate recognition from the highest levels of professional football that Sanders is performing at an elite level and belongs among the best young players in the entire NFL right now. After everything this kid has been through, all the controversy surrounding his preparation, all the sabotage accusations that dominated headlines, all the critics who questioned whether he was ready for the NFL spotlight, Shedeur just delivered the most emphatic response possible by putting together a performance so spectacular that the league had no choice but to recognize his brilliance. He was one of 6 incredibly talented nominees for this prestigious weekly award, and interestingly enough, one of those nominees was his own teammate, tight end Harold Fannin Jr., which shows just how explosive and productive the Browns' offense was during week. But when the voting concluded and the results were announced, it was Shedeur Sanders standing lane at the top, claiming his first Rookie of the Week honor of the season and announcing to the entire football world that he has arrived and is ready to dominate. This marks a watershed moment, not just for Sanders' young career, but for the entire Cleveland Browns franchise, which desperately needed something positive to rally around after weeks of dysfunction, controversy, and organizational chaos. Let us break down exactly what Shedeur accomplished in the Browns' 31-29 loss to the Tennessee Titans, because while the final score didn't go Cleveland's way, Sanders' individual performance was nothing short of sensational and provided genuine hope for the future. He completed 23 of 42 passing attempts, which works out to a 54.8% completion rate that some critics will try to nitpick, but context matters enormously here. When you are a rookie quarterback playing behind an offensive line that is still building chemistry, throwing to receivers you have had limited practice time with, and facing an NFL defense designed to confuse and pressure young quarterbacks, completing over half your passes while pushing the ball downfield aggressively is actually impressive as hell. But here is where the stats get absolutely ridiculous and start telling the real story of Sanders' breakout performance. He threw for 364 yards, absolutely torching the Titans' secondary and proving once and for all that his arm talent translates perfectly to the NFL level. This wasn't a bunch of dump-offs and short completions padded to reach a respectable yardage total. This was legitimate downfield attacking, fearless throws into tight windows, and a rookie quarterback playing with the confidence and poise of a 10-year veteran. Those 364 passing yards represent the first time in his young NFL career that Sanders has surpassed the 300-yard milestone, and you better believe he is going to chase that number many more times throughout his career. The touchdown numbers are equally impressive and demonstrate that Sanders isn't just moving the ball between the 20s, but is actually finishing drives and putting points on the board. He threw 3 touchdown passes against Tennessee, matching the highest total of his career and showing that he is capable of making plays when the game is on the line and the pressure is highest. But wait, because it gets even better, Shedeur didn't just beat defenses through the air. He also added a team-high 29 rushing yards, proving that he is a legitimate dual-threat quarterback who can hurt defenses with his legs when passing lanes close down. And just to put the cherry on top of this incredible performance, he scored his first career rushing touchdown, showing the kind of athletic ability and competitive fire that makes defensive coordinators lose sleep at night. When you combine all those accomplishments into one game, you start to understand why the NFL had to give Sanders this Rookie of the Week award. His 364 passing yards tied for the 3rd most by a Browns rookie quarterback in a single game, which means he is already in the conversation with some of the best rookie performances in franchise history. His 3 touchdown passes tied for the 2nd most by a Browns rookie in a game, further cementing his place among the elite first-year quarterbacks to ever wear the orange and brown. And here is the stat that really blows your mind. Shedeur became the first Browns player in franchise history to throw for at least 300 yards while also throwing at least 3 touchdown passes and adding at least 1 rushing touchdown in the same game. That is not just rookie excellence, that is all-time franchise excellence that puts his name in the record books alongside Browns legends. Sanders has now started 3 consecutive games for Cleveland, beginning in Week 12 when the organization finally made the decision to hand him the keys to the offense and let him prove what he is capable of accomplishing. Over those 3 starts, the production has been undeniable and impossible to ignore. He has completed 50 of 87 passing attempts for 722 passing yards and 5 touchdowns, numbers that demonstrate consistency, growth, and the ability to execute at a high level week after week. Perhaps even more impressively, Sanders has completed at least 1 pass for 50-plus yards in each of his first 3 NFL starts, showing that he is not afraid to take shots downfield and attack defenses vertically, which is exactly what modern NFL offenses require from their franchise quarterback. Now let us address the elephant in the room, because we are not going to sit here and pretend everything has been perfect or that Sanders hasn't faced legitimate challenges during his transition to the NFL. In 4 games played this season, he has thrown 3 interceptions and been sacked 8 times, numbers that critics will absolutely point to as evidence that he is still raw and needs development. And you know what? Those critics aren't entirely wrong. Sanders is still learning the speed of the NFL game, still adjusting to how quickly defensive windows close, and still figuring out when to take what the defense gives him versus when to force the issue and try to make explosive plays. Those interceptions represent learning opportunities, mistakes that every young quarterback makes as they adjust to the complexity and speed of NFL defenses. The 8 sacks tell a more complicated story that involves offensive line protection, Sanders' pocket awareness and decision-making, and the overall offensive scheme that is being deployed. Some of those sacks are absolutely on Sanders for holding the ball too long or missing opportunities to get rid of it quickly, but some of those sacks are also the result of protection breakdowns, receivers not getting open quickly enough, and a rookie quarterback who is still developing his internal clock for how long he can hold the ball before pressure arrives. The important thing is that Sanders is showing growth in these areas, and people within the organization are noticing that development happening in real time. Head coach Kevin Stfansky, who has been around countless quarterbacks throughout his coaching career and knows exactly what to look for in young signal callers, has been genuinely impressed by what he is seeing from Sanders, particularly in specific technical areas that often take years for quarterbacks to master. In comments made on December 8th, Stfansky specifically praised Sanders' footwork and pocket presence, 2 absolutely critical elements of quarterback play that determine whether a young player will succeed or fail at the NFL level. I've been really impressed by his work ethic, and that's going back to since the moment he got here. Stfansky said, and that quote matters enormously because it refutes the sabotage narrative that some people tried to push. It shows that the coaching staff recognizes Sanders' commitment and dedication even as they work through the normal growing pains that every rookie quarterback experiences. Stfansky continued with comments that should excite every Browns fan about Sanders' future development. He's still very early into his career, and he would tell you the same. You want to have constant improvement in everything you're doing. There's moments in these games that come up that are hard to replicate in practice. You can talk through them on tape, you can talk through them in a walkthrough, and then you get the rep in a game, and that's the most valuable learning tool you can have. And I think he will only take all of that and use that to his development moving forward. Those comments reveal so much about how the coaching staff views Sanders and what they believe his trajectory looks like moving forward. They are not expecting him to be a finished product right now. They are not demanding perfection from a quarterback who has only started 3 NFL games. They understand that real development happens through game experience, through making mistakes and learning from them, through facing different defensive looks and figuring out how to attack them. And most importantly, they believe that Sanders has the intelligence, work ethic, and mental makeup to absorb all these lessons and continuously improve as his career progresses. This Rookie of the Week award represents validation for everything Sanders has been working toward, and confirmation that his talent is real and his future is bright. After all the controversy surrounding his start to the season, after all the questions about whether he was being properly prepared and supported, after all the debates about whether he should even be starting, Sanders just went out and proved beyond any shadow of doubt that he belongs on an NFL field and can compete with anyone. This award isn't charity or sympathy. This is earned recognition based purely on performance and production. What makes this moment even sweeter for Sanders and Browns fans is the timing of it all. This award comes right in the middle of all the organizational drama, right as Mary Kay Cabot is reporting that the board is holding emergency meetings about coaching changes, right as the fan base is demanding accountability for how Sanders was initially handled, and Sanders' response to all that chaos and dysfunction, he goes out and delivers a 364-yard, 4-touchdown performance that forces the entire NFL to recognize his excellence. That is the mark of a true competitor, someone who doesn't make excuses or get distracted by outside noise, but simply focuses on controlling what he can control and letting his play do the talking. The 29 rushing yards he added in that Tennessee game also deserve special attention because they demonstrate an element of Sanders' game that makes him so dangerous and difficult to defend. Modern NFL defenses are built to stop traditional pocket passers who can't hurt you with their legs, but when you have a quarterback who can extend plays with his mobility, pick up crucial first downs on designed runs, and force defensive coordinators to account for his rushing ability, it completely changes the math for how defenses have to approach you. That first career rushing touchdown wasn't just a cool highlight for Sanders' personal scrapbook, it was a statement that he is a complete quarterback who can beat you in multiple ways. Looking at Sanders' overall body of work through his first 3 starts, the trajectory is undeniably positive and pointing upward. Yes, there have been mistakes and learning moments, but the production has been consistently impressive. 722 passing yards over 3 games works out to an average of 240 pheasant yards per game, which would put him in the conversation with some of the better passing offenses in the entire NFL if sustained over a full season. The 5 touchdowns over 3 games show that he is capable of finding the end zone and making plays when his team needs points, and the fact that he is completing explosive passes of 50+ yards in every single start proves that he has the arm talent and confidence to attack defenses vertically, which is non-negotiable for elite NFL quarterback. The interceptions and sacks are areas that need improvement, absolutely, but they are also exactly the kind of issues that typically get cleaned up with experience and better surrounding support. As Sanders gets more comfortable with his receivers and builds better timing and chemistry with them, those interceptions should naturally decrease. As the offensive line continues to gel and develop better communication and protection schemes, those sacks should come in. And as Sanders continues to improve his pocket awareness, decision-making speed, and understanding of when to escape versus when to stand tall and deliver, both numbers should trend in the right direction. What is particularly encouraging about Stfansky's comments is that he specifically mentioned footwork and pocket presence as areas where Sanders is already showing improvement. Footwork is absolutely fundamental to accurate passing at the NFL level, and the fact that Sanders is already making strides in this area as a rookie is a great sign for his development. Pocket presence, the ability to feel pressure without seeing it, and move subtly within the pocket to create throwing lanes and buy extra time is one of the most difficult skills for young quarterbacks to develop. The fact that Stfansky is seeing progress there already suggests that Sanders has natural instincts and spatial awareness that can't really be taught. The work ethic that Stfansky praised is also absolutely critical and perhaps the most important indicator of Sanders' future success. The NFL is littered with talented quarterbacks who never reach their potential because they didn't put in the necessary work to maximize their abilities. But when you have a quarterback with elite physical tools who is also willing to grind in the film room, stay late at the practice facility, and constantly work on improving every aspect of his game, that is when you have a chance at developing a franchise quarterback who can lead your team for a decade or more. This Rookie of the Week award should also silence a lot of the critics who question whether Sanders was ready for the NFL or whether his success at Colorado was more about playing in a college system specifically designed for his strengths. The NFL doesn't hand out weekly awards to players who aren't performing at a genuinely high level. The competition for these rookie honors is fierce, with talented first-year players across the entire league putting up impressive numbers every single week. For Sanders to win this award means he genuinely had one of the best rookie performances of the entire week across all positions and all teams, which is an incredible accomplishment for someone who has only started 3 games. The fact that his teammate Harold Fannin Jr. was also nominated tells you something about the potential of this Browns offense when everything clicks. If the Browns can get both Sanders and Fannin playing at a high level simultaneously, if they can get their receivers healthy and productive, and if they can continue improving the offensive line protection, this could develop into one of the more exciting young offenses in the entire NFL. Sanders has already shown he can push the ball downfield, make plays with his legs, and score touchdowns in multiple ways. Now it is about building consistency, reducing mistakes, and putting together complete four-quarter performances where the offense is humming from start to finish. The historical significance of Sanders becoming the first Browns player ever to throw for 300-plus yards with 3-plus touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown in the same game cannot be overstated. The Browns have been around since 1946, have had countless great players wear their uniform over nearly 8 decades of franchise history, and yet nobody had ever accomplished what Sanders did in just his third career start. That is the kind of performance that gets remembered, that becomes part of franchise lore, and that establishes a young player as someone special who is capable of doing things that even legendary Browns players never accomplished. Now here is what needs to happen next for Sanders and the Browns organization. First, they need to continue giving Sanders the support and resources he needs to succeed, which means keeping him as the unquestioned starter, building the offense around his unique skill set, and giving him the weapons and protection necessary to maximize his talent. Second, the coaching staff needs to continue developing his technical fundamentals while also allowing him the freedom to use his natural playmaking ability and instinct. Third, the organization needs to resolve whatever dysfunction and drama is happening at the leadership level, so that Sanders can focus purely on football without organizational chaos creating unnecessary distraction. If the Browns can do those things, if they can provide Sanders with a stable environment where he is properly supported and developed, the sky is legitimately the limit for what this kid can accomplish. He has already shown in just 3 starts that he has the arm talent, athleticism, intelligence, and competitive fire to be an elite NFL quarterback. Now it is about putting the pieces around him and giving him the best possible chance to reach that potential. So let us talk about what you think about all of this. Drop down in the comments right now and let me know your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders winning NFL Rookie of the Week. Do you think this is just the beginning of many awards for his career? How high is his ceiling as an NFL quarterback? And do you believe the Browns organization will properly support and develop him moving forward, or will dysfunction continue to hold this team back? Share all your thoughts, predictions, and hot takes in the comments, because this is a massive moment for Sanders' career and the Browns franchise. Make sure you absolutely smash that like button if you are excited about Shedeur Sanders' development and want to see more coverage of his journey. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update when Sanders does something special on the field. Share this video with every Browns fan and Shedeur supporter you know, because they need to celebrate this incredible achievement with us. This is just the beginning of what should be an amazing career, and we are going to be here covering every single step of the journey. Let's go!